Hello, hello, hello. This is Tequila speaking, and welcome back to my series, Losing Control. And today we're talking about passive behaviors. And so, when it comes to controlling relationships with passive behaviors, one may believe, how can a person who is passive be controlling? But first, before I tell you how, let's define passiveness and also discuss some passive behaviors. And as we progress in this video, we'll talk about how that passiveness can contribute to being in control. To be passive is accepting or allowing what happens or what others do to you without active response or resistance. Meaning, this person, if they are passive, they do not take any type of action. They don't really technically stand up for themselves. They just allow things to happen to them. So, what makes a person who is passive be controlling? Well, based on the situation or event, they can control the narrative that paints them as the victim and makes the other person look like the villain. So, hear me out. Playing the victim puts the person that is passive in a role that others may see as a sign of mistreatment by the person who is presumed the perpetrator, which makes them be the person who stands up to the perpetrator, and in turn makes the person who's passive feel supported and validated in their passiveness. Another way a person that is passive or exhibiting passive behaviors can be controlling is allowing themselves to present indecisive and having a hard time making decisions to the point where the other person ends up making decisions for them, which release them of the pressure of a conflict or release them of the pressure of having to make a decision. And maybe that decision may not work out well, or the decision does work out well, but they don't want to take the risk either way it goes, because if it doesn't work out, then they can in turn have a complaint towards the person who made the decision. Some behaviors that a passive person presents in a relationship is being agreeable to most requests, saying yes, even if they don't want to do something or if they don't agree, procrastinate, but still end up doing what is asked of them. They may sacrifice themselves for other people's happiness. They may overextend themselves. They don't stand up for themselves. They don't correct people when, like, they mispronounce their name, when they may have recalled a behavior that they have done incorrectly. They often look like the victim, so the other person appears to be the villain and allows mistreatment from the other person. So, I want to offer a quick disclaimer between a person who appears to be shy and not engaging and don't often stand up for themselves. It really depends on intention and motive, whether or not their passiveness is from a place of control or their passiveness is from a place of not feeling in control. There is definitely a difference between the two. And I want to be clear about this, that it doesn't make this person a bad person because they chose the passive route to conflicts. It's an adaptable behavior. People often do what works for them, even if it means to sometimes their own detriment. So the person that is passive for the sake of losing control may often do so to really avoid conflict and confrontations. And maybe the motive behind this is wanting to be liked, wanting to be involved, whatever person they're allowing themselves to lose control to. And then there's the person who is passive for the sake of gaining control, is the person who recognize that they're being mistreated and that this person is being unfairly, but they take the passive route because they've experienced other people seeing the behavior of the person who's treating them unfairly and seeing people take up for them. So they take on the role of being passive so they won't be accountable for their actions. And the person who is mistreating them or treating them unfairly is seen as the villain, and they don't have to speak up because other people will step up for them. And their motive is simply to gain control of the narrative and appear to be the better person. So, guys, unlike my previous two videos where I offer effective communication versus ineffective communication, my last two behaviors won't consist of this because the last two behaviors discussed in this series, passive and narcissistic behaviors, there are deeper meanings behind why a person chooses this behavior to be their adaptable response to conflict and confrontations. There needs to be further exploration for that person to really dig deeper and uncover the reason why they've chose that as their adaptive behavior before they can get to the point of learning how to effectively communicate with other people. So I hope this helped, guys. Ask questions below, comment if you have further questions about passive behaviors and how that's related to them wanting to be in control or wanting to lose control.